me mute everybody who's not Chelsea?
That seemed to get better.
Cool.
All right.
Good.
Did someone chat like aliens? Aliens. That's that. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Do you want me just to go for it? Okay, why don't I run with this until it starts again? Cool? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Chelsea. We'll deal with it.
Okay.
All right.
If I hear it again, we can address it.
All right. Sorry for the interruption. That was
Okay.
a weird sound. Hopefully it goes away.
Okay. So, one thing that I definitely believe in is picking and sticking with a platform, because just like, I don't know if your leaders have ever done this where they reach diamond, they hit Success Club consistently, and then they say, well, now I have to do something else. And all of a sudden their success tanks. And I believe that the compound effect definitely takes place in all these different platforms. And even a month or 6 months devoting yourself to something, it takes a little bit of time. And Chalene Johnson was definitely my mentor when it comes to social media, especially in the beginning. And she does social media in seasons. And I have done that exact same concept where I will devote myself exclusively to either figuring out a new platform or finding one that speaks to me. So I share this with my team. YouTube is a place for your cold market. Video, eye contact, hearing your voice, seeing you're a human, not that you're an autoresponder or just even a picture. You have such an ability to create connection. And when it comes to your cold market, as I'm sure you guys know, the more vulnerable you are, the more connective tissue that is going to all of a sudden allow that person who is a complete stranger and you're a complete stranger to trust you. And that's what I did in the beginning. And I just poured my heart out and I shared everything. And I used a lot of video so that they could see. And it wasn't polished video. It was iPhone video and messy office, messy bedroom, messy kitchen video. And in that, I think you build a lot of credibility and a lot of trust that behind the scenes is working for you. So if you're good at storytelling, if you're good at teaching, which you guys all are, and speaking, even if it's an unpolished version, you're giving your future coaches permission to kind of be unpolished as well. But I kind of had this aha moment, like, we work so hard on team calls for our team and doing training videos, all these different things. Why don't we do the same thing for our prospects? So as opposed to doing a free group, I don't like to do free groups personally. I like to create high value content and just put it on social media. So you could do a 5-minute video on your top 5 tips for confidence building. And this is a little bit like the Facebook Live video or Periscope phenomenon, but that's live. You could do a PowerPoint presentation or a video edit or something where you're training and you don't have to do it live. You can upload it, you can edit it, and then you can put it on YouTube. What I love about YouTube and what I've noticed, Success Leaves Clues, Scotty Hobbs has a YouTube, Lindsay Matway has a YouTube, Melanie Mitchell has a YouTube, Brittany Leggett has a YouTube, and I know they're all big recruiters. And I've heard many people say, I researched this person, I researched Beachbody. And so YouTube is definitely a place where you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone in attracting your cold market who's looking to become Beachbody coaches. And I think that it takes a little bit of effort, but it works in your sleep. And that's a goal of mine for the next year, is to create tons of training videos that I can use for my team, so you kind of double dip. But you're also putting yourself out there for people who are researching which coach do I want to sign up with. And that's a huge asset, I know, in all of those coaches that I named their business. So you guys have those skills, and that's a great place. Instagram and Snapchat, it's life casting. And for me right now, in this phase of my business, I don't have time to be life casting all the time. I'm doing a lot of work in this business that isn't pretty, it isn't sexy, and isn't like, leisure and freedom. I'm digging in and I'm working a lot. And so I'm just not in a season where life casting and Snapchat works for me. I see how that works for Amy Silverman. I totally get it. Maybe I'll move to an island in a year or so, but for me right now, those things didn't work. But they did work when I was life casting, building a business, and working a full-time job and staying fit. And that was relevant to my cold market because a lot of them were either trying to get out of debt or they were trying to stay fit, working a 12-hour work week with a commute. So if you have, whatever your life situation is, if life casting is applicable and that's something that you can share with other people out of the overflow, that's great. Facebook is for writing photos and short videos. I'm not good at workout videos. I know like Megan Eagleson is killer. She does all those cool workout videos. It's just not me. I've tried it. Blogging for me right now is great. It's writing and it's teaching. And I think, again, all of us are super great at, we have the skill of building trainings. We have the skill of running webinars. Why not use that same skill set for things like how to keep your closet clean, spring cleaning, how to build a budget. All of those things are highly pinnable and highly visited blog posts. So it doesn't have to be this quickly digestible cold market. I'm doing Pinterest recipes right now and linking them to my website. And the #1 source of traffic that I get to my website is healthy peanut butter cups using Shakeology. And I got so tired of just constantly having to create new Facebook content. If it's not working or it's not working the way you want it to, switch it up, because these things like YouTube, blogs, and Pinterest, they really work for you when you're sleeping, and you don't have to constantly make this like watered down content and reinvent the wheel all the time. So what I wanted to talk about, if you guys want social media experience or expertise, you go to the experts. I can't really claim that I have Facebook ad expertise or I know everything about each platform. What I do know is how to speak to my ideal coach avatar and how to make someone who's cold feel warm. And so I kind of want to treat the disease, the cause, not the symptoms, because I think that I myself and then my team as well gets caught up in like, well, what posts work and what time and how often do I post and do I boost a post? And right now the people that are seeing success with Facebook ads are seeing success with Facebook ads because they're speaking to their target market. And I think that I was challenged actually by my team, by an amazing coach on my team named Anna Locke. She's like a life business coach. And she did this incredible training on figuring out like specifically who is the person you want to attract to your team. And are you speaking to them? Because you could have your posts in front of 1 million people, but if they're not you and they're not speaking to the person you want to work with, it's totally moot and pointless. So I know this is stuff that we all know, but it's stuff that I kind of missed in certain areas. But in every opportunity for a bio or an about section on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, you need to use that real estate. What's worked for me is giving about 80% personality and 20% information. So obviously not, I'm an 8-star Beachbody coach, I'm 7-time elite. That just hasn't worked for me. What makes sense is to speak in my prospects' language, and I think a lot of us already do that. Make sure you're public, you're shareable, and you're visually appealing in both desktop and mobile views. I never check my mobile view, and like 60% of people who are looking through, probably higher, through your content are looking from their mobile device. This is huge. Create a clickable network of all your sites, communication, channels, and accounts. So if you have, let's just say 4 social media accounts, you have a blog, you have a Facebook like page, you have a Facebook, and you have a YouTube channel. Make sure that every single network or social media network site is linked to everything. And that includes all the high value real estate. So all my cover photos, my job description in my personal Facebook says like CEO and founder of, and then it links directly to my like page. And that's something that so many times I've seen coaches miss that opportunity when somebody goes, oh, who is this person? I love what they're posting. What do they do? She's a founder of what? And you can actually link your like page as the company that you work for on your personal page. So it's just identifying those holes so that they can get to know you and get to know a bigger picture of you and research you, because I think that's something that's been really beneficial for me in having my cold market come to me and feel like they know me and know what I'm about, and then make the decision without having a conversation. That includes your Instagram bio link. Your profile photo is amazing real estate because people are going to click on your first photo, and right there you can say what you do, a form for your challenge group, you're joining your team, or your top 5 blog posts, things like that. So this is, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit controversial. I personally am not a quantity girl. I sponsor, 5 coaches a month. Sometimes it's been more, 10 maybe on really, really big months, but I'm not sponsoring a ton of coaches. I believe in quality over quantity, working with the people that I like to work with, that I believe in, that I share values with. And I can tell you this with confidence. We built an organization of over 7,000 in a few years, and I'm not that top recruiter, and I don't believe that you have to be. I think, in fact, that, take a handful of spaghetti, throw it against the wall, see who sticks mentality can actually hurt you in the long run, because you have so many people pulling at you. You have so many differing mindsets. You can't impact them in a deep way the way you would if you work with your niche. So I definitely just kind of teach when it comes to cold market, work for it. Don't look at the number of followers you have. Don't look at the number of subscribers you have. Don't look at the number of likes that you have. If they're not converting, it doesn't matter. If they, I have a lot of people that follow me on Instagram now, and the last 10,000 that have followed me are all Beachbody coaches. So that doesn't serve my business, and that doesn't serve my growth. And it's kind of why I've left it alone. But the reason it's important to create your ideal coach avatar, and I'm sure that some of you guys have already done this, but you become kind of the voice in their head. So if you figure out who you want to work with, and I'm going to show you the questions in a second that I use to figure out my coach avatar, when they see you post, when they stumble upon your video or your blog or your picture and your caption, you're speaking what's going on in their head. You're affirming, yeah, I do need to get fit. Yeah, I do hate my job. Yeah, I do wish that I was living for something else other than the 9-to-5 hustle. But if you water it down and you make it sales promos or even like clean recipes, I feel like that has gotten so overdone. But becoming super specific about talking to one person, your dream coach, your dream customer, it's going to make you become a magnet, because those people are going to identify with you, trust you, like you, get the way you think. What it also does is it focuses your time, your message, and your energy. I'm not trying to speak to these perfect, like super lean fitness competitors, because that's not me. And I think that in my experience with this business, and I've talked to many leaders about it as well, you try to fit every single niche. And we have an amazing product catalog, but we don't have to share them all. We don't have to speak to all those people. And I've heard people who are really incredible at their niche. If I was to, speaking of Danielle, if I was to, not be involved in coaching and obsessed with insanity, I would go to Danielle Natoni. And if I had problems in my pregnancy or super, super high medical bills, I would identify with Lindsay Matway. And if I loved Turbo, I would go to Janelle. And I think that very often we make niching a bad thing, but in reality, it's a force field for the right people who, when they do find you, they don't breeze over you. They say, I get you, I like you, I want to do what you do. It helps you to stop waste your emotional energy on non-ideal prospects. I can't tell you guys how much time I have spent with coaches, and many of the reasons this is a bad thing is because I didn't have boundaries or I didn't have qualifiers in place. But I think we all have those coaches who just suck your emotional energy. They're not made to be entrepreneurs. Maybe they don't have the same belief system or values as you. So even if they are working hard, you don't click, and they drain you and they tire you out, and you'll never be able to speak the same language. And I just personally don't want to work with those people just to see my name as top recruiter or top sales. And I think that in the long run, it'll build a more fulfilling, but also stable organization of people who are tribe mindset, very like-minded. And this is really cool. So when you speak specific language to your ideal coach, and not every single person that could potentially be a coach and potentially be a customer, you can transform people's lives on a much deeper level. And it sounds corny, but that's what we're here for, is to help people live healthier, more fulfilling lives. I love that that's our tagline and our purpose, because if I'm working with a girl, I lost 50 pounds, I had gained it amidst a really toxic relationship in college and depression and recreational drug use, and I dropped out. Now, if somebody who is a mom of 5 and has never ever touched, a drug in their life or a drink in their life, and maybe they commuted to college, they're not going to understand what that was like. Just like I'm not going to be able to necessarily serve somebody that has lost themselves, in caring for children and putting everyone's needs before them. Of course, I work with moms, and of course, moms who don't, or parents, and of course, parents who work with people who don't have kids. But I believe that you can transform people's lives on a deeper level when you share those commonalities. And what happens is, from a business perspective, that turns into better testimonials. And referrals and testimonials are everything. That's such a big part of cold market attraction and conversion and enrollment is, oh, well, I know someone who knows that person, and I can vouch for that coach. She changed my life with her group. She changed my life with that business. And it's something that I don't think we talk about a lot, especially customers who don't want to coach. I gave up on that as well. Convincing customers who are on the fence about coaching, if you don't want to build a business, fine. Be my VIP challenger, and let's bring your family, your friends, and let me coach them. And that's, those testimonials are things that if you put them on your YouTube, if you put them on your blog, if you put them on your website, I believe they speak louder than any rank, than any, anything you can share about your training systems. If someone's saying, I was a stranger, I met this person, they changed my life in this way, that speaks volumes and kind of brings down the fear factor. And then niching down does not exclude anyone or limit your success. So I grew up in a small town, and there was this one commercial lot that was like a candy store, and then like a macaroon shop, and then like a tackle fishing place, and then like a crazy lakefront real estate office, but we didn't have a lake around us, and it just kept closing down. And it was this joke, like, why are you doing this boutique niche-based thing in such a small town? But that's old school business mindset, because we have the internet at our fingertips. There are literally millions of people who want your boutique Beachbody business. They want to know what you can give them in addition to a challenge pack, or what is different about you. And I think that there's a misconception about niching down your messaging on social media, because it doesn't mean I'm going to get this. It means that somebody may identify with my faith, or somebody may identify with the college I went to. Just because you niche down doesn't mean that you're going to get carbon copies of yourself. It's just going to be maybe 1 or 2 values that you share together. So I've done some R&D, and this is actually like the most fun, I think, of social media marketing and figuring out how to reach out to your cold market. So this is something I'll definitely share these slides, because I would highly recommend taking like 30 minutes and like really brainstorming and free writing and thinking about who is my ideal customer and coach. This is not like, this is not woo-woo. This is not manifest into the world, even though I do believe in manifestation and things like that. You got to get so specific that you get in their head and you speak their language and you know what they're struggling with. So I like to just encourage my team to think of someone that they love to work and serve with. So who is your favorite coach? That your top coach, or your downline coach, or maybe your upline coach, somebody that you just love. And then, think about what they're like. How old are they? What is their gender, their income level currently, their hobbies, their values, their beliefs, their relationship status, their family life, and then their fitness and business experience. And if you start tailoring your posts to, a 35-year-old guy who has tons of business experience but has been burned by his previous employer, he's got a wife and a new baby on the way, he believes he's made for something more, but he has no time with this family. If you drilled into that, you would find them, you would speak to them, you would create resources that are going to make that person trust you. And I would love a team of that. My husband would love a team of that. It's also super important to identify who you do not want to work with. And this can be negative qualities, but it can also be positive boundaries. So I know a lot of women only want to work with women, and that may be something that you decide. You may also only want to work with people that are positive. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I actually have on my list, I don't want to work with anyone that has limited social media experience. So if they have no photos of themselves on their Facebook, I don't want to work with them. And I can say that as a business owner. So get specific. If they have absolutely no computer skills, maybe that's somebody that you want to pass up on. I'm sure this is very controversial. I've seen it. I'm sure you guys have seen it in leaders pages and study groups and the wall that, I would never, ever pass up a coach. I would sign up everybody. That's just not my posture, because I don't want to work with somebody that I have to teach financial planning and, how to cook and how to shower and how to run their household and I just don't believe that that's something that I can serve. That's not how I can serve best. So I set those boundaries. And then think about who you were when you found Beachbody, because that's really the person that you want to speak to. I know you guys know that. So to dig a little bit deeper into this customer avatar and to really speak to them, you've got to name them. You could find a picture of them. Where do they live? What are their hobbies and interests outside of work? This is great for Facebook ad targeting, but it's also great if you share those hobbies. Think about what you like to do outside of work, or what your dream coach or dream customer likes to do outside of work. What are their guilty pleasures? What experts do they follow for advice? Do they follow Dave Ramsey? Do they follow Oprah? If you were to go to either Dave Ramsey or Oprah's page, or The Real Housewives or Sports Center, whatever it may be, that's your cold market that's not hashtagging insanity and hashtagging P90X. We don't want just to recycle our customers and coaches. We want new people. So by getting super specific and saying, well, I love to watch Scandal, and so I now have every single person that watches Scandal, I can post on Thursdays or Fridays after that episode, and suddenly we have this commonality, and that girl who likes Scandal and always funny and always doing commentary about it also does P90X. If she likes Scandal, she may like P90X. It sounds kind of like a far reach, but it's not. It's credibility. What do they do in their free time? What do they believe in? What's their Myers-Briggs personality? I would love to work with all ENFPs. I'm an ENFP, and I get ENFPs. What stresses them out? That's something that if you really figure out what stresses out my ideal coach, you could do a free group, you could do a post, you could do a video, you could do a training on how to eliminate whatever is stressing them out, and that's going to create credibility. What do they want to change about their life? How do they want to feel? If there were no obstacles like money and time, or they have the perfect body, the perfect life, what would they do? Those are all the things that are constantly going to bring fresh people into your market. If we just talk about Beachbody On Demand, if we just talk about rank advancements and cool meeting groups, we're only going to attract other Beachbody coaches. And I hate that more than anything. So the further you can step away from Beachbody, but still talking about things that you love and identify with, the more fresh leads you're going to get that are super cold, but trust you and are warming up. So this is just a really great exercise. I highly encourage you to just dig in like crazy and create this avatar. Now this is where it gets really, really, really fun. And it really is like a science experiment where you're trying to figure out what makes people tick. So interview and survey your existing customers and coaches, or the customers and coaches who wish that they enrolled with you. I'm sure you guys have gotten that message. I wish I knew you were around. I wish you were my coach. Ask them, hey, would you hop on the phone? Would you get on Skype? Would you tell me what are the things that you looked for when you were signing up with that person? What are the things that you liked about me? What are the things that immediately attracted you to my team? Even if they're not on your team and they said they wanted to, interview them. That's data. That is things that you can then repeat and really focus in on your blog or in your content. Get on the phone with a Facebook friend who's not even involved in your business or a follower and offer an incentive for them to simply give you feedback on what you post. So do a focus group. Say, you know, I think this is totally separate from policy and procedure, so there's no limitation on what you incentivize for this information. But I heard once a really successful entrepreneur sent a bouquet of flowers to every client, like major client that they lost, and said, hey, I valued our time together. I just want to say thank you and would love to know if there's something that I did wrong. You know, our most least satisfied customers are our best gateway and key into the future on what to do with our business, but we can do the same thing with people who are just kind of onlookers. What does my business look like to you? What do you secretly hate about my posts? What annoys you about Beachbody? What intrigues you about Beachbody? And offer some sort of incentive. Another thing is to incorporate questions into your challenge group check-ins or a survey as a qualifier for a one-on-one phone call with your team, your coaches, for their feedback. So in those phone calls, you can get really important data, like what are your goals? What do you think that I do? You know, that's people who aren't already coaches. What do you want to learn from me as one of my downline coaches? What was the best experience you've had with me in a challenge group or in a coaching group since signing up? And that's literally, especially if you ask these questions to your ideal coach and customer, these are the things that you want to then repeat over and over and over and over again. If somebody says to you, well, I just wanted to be a part of this community because in my group X classes that I teach, I don't feel connected to my customers, but in this way, I feel connected to my customers. Well, that's my top coach named Jamie, and I want 1 million Jamies. So if I was to advertise the coaching opportunity, I would say, are you frustrated as a Group X instructor that you can't connect with your clients? So you don't even have to come up with these things. You can ask them and offer a one-on-one call or a shout out or a graphic creation or something in exchange. So from there, I really do believe all of this cold market attraction is content-based. It's being vulnerable, it's being authentic, and it's researching the things that have gone right and repeating them over and over and over again. So with all of this, this is how I never run out of content. I teach this to my team. You can apply this to the 3 vital behaviors. You can apply this to your workout. You can apply this to your personal development. You can apply this to your business, your marriage, your hobbies, your family, your life coaching questions. And so I asked myself very similar questions to this in building my following during my workouts. So I would say, what am I struggling with today? What inspired me? How have I grown since yesterday? Who do I want to be tomorrow? What is my biggest excuse? What is my plan to conquer it? What does success look like for me? What am I challenging myself with? How did the old me think? What was my light bulb moment today? And I feel like Kim saying this, how did I win today? And the whole sales team. It's something that's super subjective and it's transformative. And as you evolve, all of these things apply. So I have this printed out. I have my team have this printed out in their workout space. And so they're asking themselves these questions before, during, and after their workout. And they're thinking about it. And then as soon as they're done, they're writing their content. And they're speaking honestly and authentically. And in those moments when I was working out and I felt my 50-pound heavier body jiggle and I felt disgusting and splashy and like a failure, those were the things that I wrote about. And that was the connective tissue. That was immediate trust, immediate warming of my market. And so I think when it comes to attracting a cold market, it's really all about vulnerability, and it's super courageous, and it's super necessary. I've seen so many coaches just being so sterile, even successful coaches. I'd love to hear what they're afraid of. When, like, for example, the clean recipes. I would love to hear, an injured athlete who is unable to train and is struggling that they're going to lose their fitness, talk about what recipes work for them. Or, someone who is recovering from an eating disorder, what they do for clean recipes. And that's niching down, and it's putting your heart out there, and it's being courageous enough to say to somebody, I'm wearing this on my sleeve, and I want you to come with me. And it's magnetic at that point. You gotta fight them off. And they're the right people that you want to work with, that trust you, that like you, and that you like as well. So this is my content. That's not how you end a call. Does anybody have any questions? I don't. Okay.
Yeah, I think you've left us all with jaw on the ground, Chelsea. Whoa, that went from hey, let's share some tips to be whoa, like a college course on marketing, and specifically social media marketing. And so, man, you ought to make money for that kind of speech. I don't know, we got you for free today, but
you're so kind. I was nervous.
That should have a price tag on it. It's excellent.
I wasn't sure how these ran, so I just used a slide deck like I do for my team.
Awesome. Well, I don't think anyone's complaining. Yeah, I'd love to hear, comments or questions or interactions, or, what some of the perceptions are of you guys that have listened in today.
That was hugely valuable. Thank you, Chelsea. I feel like this is something I really need to hammer in with my team too, like the whole avatar thing. We used to do a really good job of the avatar training. We actually used to run our new coach boot camp as an avatar training. So we got them up and running with social media to start. It was really, really time intensive, on our part as leaders, but in looking back to that group that sort of went through that, they're really comfortable on social media, and they are attracting people like them, even if social media was new to them. And we stopped only because it became a time constraint. So my mind was racing thinking about how to include my leaders to help continue that, because in the interim, it feels like they're not as comfortable on social media anymore. And I think I do a pretty good job attracting people that are like me, but I know that is not the case for some of my downline. They're really struggling. Thank you.
You got it.
Hey, Chelsea, I just want to say thank you so much. Gave me a couple awestruck moments there throughout your talk. I just wanted to ask, so when you're talking about speaking to your avatar, and you talked about how you start to create the resources for them, is that how you post? So you're so drilled into that avatar that, it was someone who, had, a substance abuse thing. So that almost leads you, that fear, that vulnerability leads the charge for the post. And that's when you start to speak on social media. Is that?
Yeah. And so it's funny because it actually came from a place of insecurity. So when you're bullied or when you're ashamed of something, what do? You say it first. You make fun of yourself first so no one else can call you out on it. So I just felt unqualified. I was fit my whole life. I had a really crappy 2 years in college. And I said, well, before they call me out for being unqualified as a fitness coach, why don't I call myself out? And at least I can speak to the people that were where I was. And then it just kind of became this thing where all of these people were drawn in at the right people and magnetic. So I always kind of lead, like you said, lead with that vulnerability or that struggle or that desire of my ideal coach as the core, and then I build a post around it.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
It was a great call, and I always learn something new from you. When you're around creative people, they make you think more creatively. So I always love that about you. But I always worked with my cold market because being like face to face with somebody was more scary for me. So it was so much easier to be vulnerable on social media and like connect with like strangers than like yesterday I had a lunch with one of my new coaches. Like that freaks me out more than telling people I wanted to kill myself at 30, you know, like, so I think everybody has their like their weird thing. And so the cold market and being vulnerable is exactly what it is, because when people say to you like, oh my God, you're talking to me, like you're in my head, that's when you know that you've hit the nail on the head with what you're posting.
And another thing that's been really helpful, I haven't implemented as much as I should, the end of your challenge groups or your free groups, if you create a Google form that's like an exit survey and you ask them life coaching questions, and you can just Google life coach questions and you'll get all of these different answers or examples. But then what you do is you offer like a gift card or something just for their feedback to one person, and then you use their actual words in your Facebook ads and in your call to actions, because you're not thinking about what they're thinking of. They're telling you what they're thinking, and then you use their exact words, and that's why they say, oh, I thought you were in my head. You were talking to me. And sometimes the girl, Anna, one of our leaders, she's like, she's had the coach who in the free group gave that sentence enroll because she posted that in her call to action. So it's not tricky, it's just smart.
Dear me.
But thank you for saying that. That was really sweet.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Hey, we're bumping up against it here. I was just curious, you know, and Chelsea, this can be for you or for any of you, like, you know, when are you teaching these cold market attracting skills to, you know, your new coaches? You know, at what point, and maybe this was for leaders today, so we got really, you know, deep into it. You know, what goes out to, you know, the new coach or you know, team stuff? Is it the same, just so they get it from the beginning? Curious to know how you guys approach cold market attraction techniques or approaches, you know, with new coaches. Someone want to take that? Ruth, what do you do? Calling on you. Unmute yourself.
There, now I unmuted. I don't think I'm the best person to ask that question to. I plead the fifth because I don't think I do a good job at that. It's something I really struggle with.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm curious to learn from other people because I'm not good at that area.
Hey, I appreciate you being honest.
Danielle Natoni always taught us how to work our cold market from the beginning. And so I always did it with my coaches from the beginning. She always taught us to find 3 things that was different about us. So like if we had dogs and we were really into dogs, to talk about that. So she kind of like put that in my head that the cold market was what we wanted. You know, I just think it's easy to throw up a before and after picture and people see you lost 20 pounds and they're like, hey, I want to do what you want to do. But I don't know if that necessarily grows a business. Whereas when you're taught that you need to connect with people and build relationships from the get-go, it kind of allows people to see and like room to grow, room to stretch at
We did that too. We exclusively teach. Well, not exclusively. It's my wheelhouse. So I'm not very good at personal invitation. I'm really great at passive invitation. So when I was recruiting in the beginning, the people I was recruiting were other Instagram accounts that life casted the way I did. So I think maybe it has to do with the culture of the team. And we actually struggle with personal invites. They're like, well, I'm blogging every day and, you know, I have all these followers, but they struggle with the actual invitation.
So do you guys teach them the like page from the beginning, or Kim, is that something that Danielle talked about?
So I don't necessarily teach them about a like page because you have a lot of Facebook friends that aren't your target market. And so I want them to specifically post on their, whether it be their personal page or like page. So I don't really talk about a like page until they're kind of like at least close to diamond, or they're working really hard, or, you know, that kind of stuff. But I teach them from in our Coach Basics that avatar. And I use a video by Katie Hefner that she talks about her ideal avatar. And it's very like basic, and it's really like you have a story, it's unique. And she does a brilliant job of, I think she's a really brilliant coach. And so I learned a lot from her too.
And when it comes to like pages, we always use, every time that question is asked, we use Janelle's talk from Summit last year, because she says in it, until you're confident with your content, there's absolutely no reason for you to build a like page, because it's going to tank even faster there. So I think like we just teach personal pages while you're figuring out what are you going to post, who are you, and then once you know what that is, then you can test it out on a tougher audience.
Like pages are so tough too, because I find my coaches like to hide over there, you know, because no one's actually seeing what they're posting, and they're like so confident about what they're posting. I'm like, yeah, well, no one's seeing it. And then they're frustrated. They're like, no one's joining me. I'm like, well, your post was reached by 4 people. You know, like nobody saw what you were posting. So I do encourage them to set up the like page, but we sort of help them develop their voice over there, like, because that is where they're comfortable. But we'll do stuff like in our team page. Like today is Transformation Tuesday, and they all need to post the transformation on their personal page. And it doesn't have to be theirs. They can use the recognition and choose a challenger, choose their mom, choose whoever else, like talk about what we do as coaches. And then we started like the Fearless Friday, like share something that scares the crap out of you, or like you have to close your computer and run away for the rest of the day. And they have done such a good job with that, and they cannot post it on their like page. It has to be like on a public forum. And so they're getting used to it over there, because my coaches like to just hide behind the like page. And I'm like, you guys, the like page isn't a place to hide. That's where you need to connect with your cold market. And I think they just struggle there, and they don't think that what we do, they can do. Like they can be vulnerable, they can share, you know. And I always tell them, I was like, scroll back to the beginning of my posts. They're ugly. Like it's me in a shake and really blurry pictures with like lots of writing all over them. Like it wasn't pretty. But anyway, yeah, I'm so indifferent on the like page, because I think it's important they begin to grow momentum over there, but they like totally abandon their personal page, you know, like they only post over there, they don't have the personal page, and then they're frustrated no one's joining them. And I'm like, well, no one's seeing you have like 12 people that like your page, and nobody's seeing your stuff.
Courtney, do you have like a coach application that you use for your coaches and ask questions?
Yeah. So when they all join, and I just started this year, because I'm so guilty of wanting goals for them that they didn't actually set. Like I feel like I'm in their head and I know what they want because I know their why. So yeah, and I really hold myself better accountable when I know exactly what their goals are. And I do have them update every month. I do reconnect with them and have them update them. Well, my assistant does this. She resends it out so they can update their form. And that really does help me a lot. But I think it helps them really think about where they're going and what they're doing, like what their goals and their focus is for the next 30 days. And I ask them, what does success look like for you in the next 30 days?
Because it's so funny, because I have found in my coach applications, the coaches that are afraid to post are the ones that they're like, change they want to make on the world is like, help women stand apologetically without fear, share their story. And then they're like, I want to post on Facebook. So it's kind of funny how they like almost project their goal, but they can't. I just kind of had a light bulb, like maybe I should remind them of what they signed up for.
Yeah. I know it's tough. I don't know if there's like some of them, the thought of it sounds really great, or like they look at what, you know, where they want to go, but the steps to get there really scare them. So I don't know, it's helping them see the small success along the way, which is tough.
Right.
All right. Well, hey, awesome, you guys. We're up against the hour here. Thank you so much for being on today and for listening and sharing and making each other better. Chelsea, I think I speak for everyone in expressing gratitude for you and the time that you put into presenting this information to us and the manner in which you did it. And I did record this, today, so I will put it up on Craig's coaches page. So, the coaches that are on there and from our Monday group or whatever can access it because, Chelsea, you put on a great clinic today. Very much appreciate it. So thank you to all. Next week, we've got, I don't have it up. Next week, we have a discussion leader and we'll make it awesome. Can't remember what the topic is off the top of my head, but it'll be great. So is it Kim? Is it you?
I think so.
Awesome. So it's going to be good. All right, you guys, have a great Tuesday and a great week, okay? Peace out.